Matthew 10, the king delegates authority to his messengers. Matthew 10 answers this question. What does it look like when the king doesn't just demonstrate authority, but shares it? Up to this point, Matthew 5 to 7, Jesus teaches with authority. Matthew 8, the king's authority is unleashed in power. Chapter 9, the king restores the broken and mobilizes the harvest. Now in Matthew 10, Jesus does something shocking. He entrusts his authority to ordinary people. This chapter goes beyond mission methods. It confronts who represents the king, where our allegiance lies, and what it costs and how this power is released. Point 1, authority is delegated, not earned. And he called him his 12 disciples and gave them authority. Notice they are still learners, disciples. They were flawed, diverse, and unqualified by human standards. One of them is Judas, who betrayed Jesus. Yet authority is received, not deserved. Ministry begins with calling, not completion. Authority comes by commission, not character perfection. Ministry flows from obedience to the call, not a spiritual resume. Authority comes from relational proximity to the king, not personal greatness. Point 2, the mission is announced, not debated. Jesus gives them a clear message. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. Not moral self-improvement, not an invitation to discussion, and definitely not a platform for religious argument. The gospel is not a conversation starter. It's a royal announcement. And the message is confirmed by power. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, and cast out demons. Word and power belong together. A kingdom proclaimed without power is empty. Power without proclamation creates confusion. Point 3, dependence is the training ground of authority. Jesus forbids excess preparation, no extra money, no backup plans, no self-reliance. Why? Because dependence produces discernment. They learn who receives the kingdom and who rejects it. That rejection is not failure on your part. Fruitfulness is measured by faithfulness, not acceptance. Point 4, persecution is not an accident, it's expected. Jesus is brutally honest. I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. This chapter dismantles the idea that obedience guarantees ease. Opposition doesn't mean you missed God. Resistance often confirms the assignment. Jesus reframes suffering as a calling, not as a sign that you failed, but evidence you share in his mission. Jesus said, if they have called the master of the house Beelzebub, then how much more they'll malign those of his household. Suffering is not a detour from the mission. It is the mark of representing the master. Point 5, fear is the enemy of mission. Jesus addresses fear directly. Fear of people, fear of rejection, and the fear of loss. Then he says, so have no fear of them, for nothing is covered that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be made known. What I tell you in the dark, say in the light, and what you hear whispered, proclaim on the rooftops. And do not fear those who will kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather fear him who can destroy both soul and body in hell. The kingdom is eternal, not temporary. Remember, there are no exits in hell. So fear God and not men. Jesus continues, are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny, and not one of them will fall to the ground apart from your Father? But even the hairs of your head are all numbered. Fear not, therefore, you are more of value than many sparrows. So everyone who acknowledges me before men, I also will acknowledge before my Father who is in heaven. But whoever denies me before men, I will also deny them before the Father in heaven. To belong to the king is a visible allegiance. There is no neutral ground. Allegiance is public. Neutrality is impossible. Point 6, allegiance to the king divides earthly loyalties. One of the most misunderstood passages is this. I did not come to bring peace but a sword. Jesus is not promoting violence here. He is exposing competing allegiances. When Jesus is king, family, comfort, safety, and reputation are no longer ultimate. Whoever does not take up his cross and follow me cannot be my disciple. This is the first clear call by Jesus to die before the cross even happens. Point 7, how you treat the messenger reveals your response to the king. Jesus closes with dignity and promise. Whoever receives you receives me. The disciple becomes a living ambassador for the kingdom. Even small acts of obedience, a cold cup of water, faithful obedience, hidden service done to a disciple are seen, noticed, and rewarded by God. In one sentence, Matthew 10 reveals that the kingdom of God advances not through comfort or caution, but through delegated authority, fearless allegiance, and costly obedience to the king. The question Matthew 10 leaves us with isn't, do you believe in Jesus? It's, who do you represent? Who holds your ultimate allegiance? If you want to be part of our future Bible studies, live teachings, and discipleship trainings, join our free Antioch group through my link in the bio. If you want to watch a video from one of our revivals in India, comment video and I'll send you the link. Stay tuned. We'll be releasing more resources, teachings, and trainings, and even apparel in the days ahead. If you're hungry to live as one delegated by the King, not by human approval, type revival in the comments and follow for more.